So let's say, now I'm not going to tell you that you shouldn't exercise, because what's true is that cardiovascular exercise strengthens your heart. It can help lower blood pressure. It can help you lose weight, especially if you're sedentary and you add that calorie burn into your daily equation. It helps you with insulin resistance if you're pre-diabetic, if you have metabolic syndrome, if you're diabetic, it can help with insulin resistance. So it is an important factor, but I'm just saying, you exercise 30 minutes out of the day, you sleep 8, that's 8.5 hours. What are you doing with all the rest of those hours in your day? How much of it are you sitting? If we do want to start an exercise program, how do we decide what we're going to do? What's the best form of exercise? What is it? Walking. What else? Swimming. Are you reading like the notes or something? The best form of exercise is something that you will do daily, preferably daily, and that you enjoy. I don't care if it's throwing frisbees. I don't care if it's dancing in your room with the light off and the music loud. I don't care if it's, if you run, you walk, you swim, you take the dog for a walk, you ride a bicycle.
Go hiking.
You can go hiking. You can play with your kids. Play with your kids for 30 minutes, nonstop. That's a good way to get moving. So all of those things, the best form of exercise is the one that you'll do consistently, regularly, and over a long period of time. How often should you do it? Minimum 3 days. Minimum is like beginner. If you're not exercising, or you haven't been for a while, 3 days is your starting point. It's not the goal. 3 days is your starting point. Get that under your belt. Over a longer period of time, you start adding one of two things, either time to those 3 days or add days and keep your time short. Whatever works in your schedule. The idea is to begin to have something that goes on in your life daily, like brushing your teeth. Hopefully everybody in here brushes your teeth every day. Like taking a shower, like, whatever else you do on a regular basis, that's how important this is in your life. And you don't say no to it. You don't say no to it. It doesn't come second. It's like, oh, but my kids and stuff. It's like, if you don't live very long, your kids are going to miss you anyway. If you can't move around much, they're going to miss you anyway. I get that all the time. It's like, my kids, I got to do this with my kids. It's like, priority is that you're healthy and well so that then you can take care of other people who depend on you. If you're not healthy, you can't work. If there are people dependent on you and you can't work because you're getting sick, that's the level of priority of this kind of stuff. So it's not I'll get to it. I'm good. We've got some really cool handouts for you guys. The first one is the couch potatoes arise, and that's what I've just been talking about. There's a little bit of more information. I really would like for you guys to kind of read over this stuff, with breakfast that you eat every morning because it's the most important meal of the day. Put this on the table, read your stuff, the fit facts. These come from the American Council on Exercise. They're the people, I've got my certification with them. They're very much oriented toward the normal person, not the athlete. So they have a lot of information that's good for all of us. You don't have couch potatoes? She needs couch potatoes. There we go. So that's the first one. The second one, do you guys only have two?
Two, and then the calorie counters.
Okay. The other one is eat well to stay motivated and energized. Is that the one you've got? Okay. So some people in the other classes had asked me about what do I do before I go to exercise? Like, what should I eat before I go exercise? So the first thing is, how long has it been since you've eaten last? So if you're a 1 o'clock lunch eater and you're going to go work out at, say, 6 o'clock, you may need a snack, but you're going to have to get it in at least an hour or so before you go work out. All right? You don't want to be eating 20 minutes before you get either in the gym or out on the road to start running or on your bike or whatever it is you're doing. You won't have access to those calories, and it's not going to feel so hot on your stomach. So 20 minutes in your stomach for digestion, and by the time it gets into circulation, it takes about 30 to 40 minutes. So give yourself a good hour. Then you'll have some blood stores. You'll have a little bit of glycogen stores to get you into and through a 30-minute workout. If you want to get past those calories, you can intensify how hard you work in those 30 minutes, or you can go longer. And that's when you start burning your calorie stores, which are what? Fat, right? So beyond that 30-minute range, either you work harder during that short period or you extend the time that you do it. That's the, how do I know? That's where you have your intensity. If you're untrained, if you haven't worked out, if you're not really fit, you're going to do something that's called a talk test. So whatever it is that you're doing to get your heart rate up, you need to be able to talk to someone. If you're slow down, because you're going to slow down anyway in a second, clunk. So slow down to where you can have a conversation while you're breathing, okay? It's called the talk test. Frequency, intensity, the time, we're talking about 30 minutes minimum. I prefer longer periods of time to get more into the fat stores that we've got going on. And what's the other T for? The type of exercise we've already talked about. It's the one that you'll do. The one that you'll do the most. If you have joint problems, you want to do something that's not high impact. If you are really unfit, you also want to do something that is not going to require immediately, like you're not going to start running immediately. That's okay. So just make wise decisions about that. I've got, in addition to what we've talked about, there's 3 more handouts that we're going to get to you guys that I want you to take and read. One is a really good thing to ask yourself, go through this before you start an exercise program. It's got a list of questions that you ask yourself to know where you should start in terms of an exercise program, all the way from your physical state to your emotional state. This one is 3 things every exercise program should include, and that would be your strength, your cardiovascular, and your flexibility. You don't have these yet. You're going to get them, though. You're going to take this stuff and read it outside of here, because we don't have, in this short period, we don't have that much time to do that. And then finally, gathering support, which is what they're trying to do here at Labatt for you guys with your trainers. You guys are, we have coaches, the coaches here with the rest of the people in the company who are doing the same program. How do we build support systems around this? Because, man, it's way easier to do when you're in a group than it is to do this stuff on your own. It's more fun. You can laugh about it. You can complain and gripe. And, and then the days when you don't feel like doing it, somebody around you will say, come on, get your tail out here. Don't skip it. So peer pressure goes a long way when it comes to this stuff. Peer pressure and support. So those are 3 extras to take with you. And then Laura you have your question and answer category. This is just something an FYI, so you can get a sense of things that you can do both in a gym and outside of a gym, and how many calories you'll get into as you do those. They're based on a 100-pound body. If you weigh more than 150-pound body, right? We decided? If you weigh more than 150 pounds, your calories are going to be somewhat higher. But it's just an idea for you. Not double. No, if you figure, you could probably add anywhere between maybe per minute 3 calories max, per minute 4, unless you're an athlete, per minute. So maybe up to about 40 calories, 60 calories an hour. Yeah, don't get crazy with those numbers. But look at cooking. I mean, cooking. If you stand up in the kitchen and cook, you burn almost 200 calories. Huh? As long as you're not grazing, exactly. And dancing, I love this thing about dancing, man. Dance for an hour, 370 calories. I'll tell you guys one short story, and then I'm going to cut you loose after you finish your test. I had a client who called me up, wanted to start an exercise program, but hated exercise. Hate it. So I went to her house and I asked her, well, she's like, I'm not going to walk. I don't want to ride a bike. I'm not running. You can't make me do this, that, or the other, and I'm not buying any equipment. I said, okay, what do you like to do? Nothing. I hate all of it. And finally we came up with dancing. So every day before I got there, she would turn on the music in her bedroom really loud, and for 30 minutes she danced. And when I showed up at the door, she was sweating, out of breath, and so happy because she'd both done something and she was listening to music that she loved. So dancing to me rocks. I mean, I think if somebody would just do the dance, like this, what's this thing called that's everybody's the rave right now, the Zumba thing? I don't know, I don't do the Zumba thing either, but everybody loves it. And I guess it's good music and...
My wife went this morning and it got him an extra hour.
No, just what I'm thinking. I mean, people are just raving about it. And they teach it at the food bank. We've got a girl who comes on Tuesdays and she says, you don't have to know the steps. You just got to wiggle. And I'm like, I can wiggle. So see, but I'm safe because I got you guys every Tuesday. I don't have to go. So anyway, just an FYI to take that with you. So let's do your test if you can there. If there's something that you don't get because I didn't talk about it, holler at me. Otherwise, I think you're set to go when you finish.